What's up, bodyweight warriors? Welcome back to another follow along. Today I've got a squat flexibility routine for you. We're not going to need any equipment for today's routine, but I would recommend having a couple of yoga blocks or cushions handy. Other than that, some time and space, and let's jump into this routine. So we're going to kick this video off and we're going to just test the squat. So what I want you to do is, at whatever width of foot or foot position that is comfortable, I want you to just try and get down into the deepest squat you can. Now, if you can't sit all the way down onto the floor, I guess that's the reason you're watching this video. Maybe grab an object in front of you and just try and feel it out, feel where feels tight, and just take note. And I'm going to come back at the end of this routine and give it a little comparison. Okay, so let's begin with the routine. I'm going to start seated. I'm going to do the channel favorite, which is some hip swivels. So both feet out, chest supported, chest staying forward. I'm going to drop both legs to one side, internal external rotation, move back, move to the other side. So I'm just going to do 10 of these in total, just to warm up. It's not a stretch, literally just getting some movement into the hips and into the spine. So the key here, try to stay as upright as possible and try to keep the torso facing forward. So today we're going to take a look at rotation of the hip. We're going to try and improve the strength of our hip flexors to pull us deeper into the squat, and we're also going to take a quick look at the ankles as well. Hopefully by the end of it, your squat is going to be feeling and looking better. As always, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear how you get on with this one. Okay, so a couple more here. And then we're going to pause just on the left-hand side here. So I think the first place we're going to pay attention is this ability here. So this ability to move into internal rotation. We're going to start with a seated position. So we're going to take one leg, cross it over, and take the other leg over the top. So we're almost like in a sitting cross-leg position. And I'm just going to try and hug this leg as tight as I can do. So we're creating a stretch over the glute of this rear leg. So what we're going to try and do is I'm going to think about pulling my belly button into the legs. So that's going to emphasize this stretch here and trying to hug as much as I can. If you can do, if this is feeling reasonably okay, we're just going to try and shift this right shoulder. So I'm stretching my left-hand side to the right shoulder. I'm trying to try and get down towards the ground, but still keeping myself hugged nice and tight and trying to pull my belly button towards my thigh. We're going to hold this one for a minute in total. We're going to just for a nice general stretch over this glute. Some nice deep breaths, and if you can do, sinking a bit deeper into it. So either getting that shoulder down or even feeling like you can roll forward. Just move around a little bit, try and find where you get the best stretch. Nice deep breaths. We can come back to do the other side here. So I'm going to take that left leg, cross it underneath. Right leg's going to come over the top. If you started on the other side, don't worry, just do the opposite. Hug that right leg, twist ourselves. So I think it's sternum towards knee. Give it a good hug. Think about lifting the chest, rotating the pelvis, trying to pull that belly button towards the leg. Good stretch now over this glute. And if you can do, drop that shoulder down towards the ground. So this is just a general stretch over that posterior hip capsule. It's going to cover quite a few muscles, but hopefully it's just going to make it feel a little bit looser. Nice deep breaths. Just over halfway here. So if you can do, keep moving that shoulder down towards the ground, leaning a little bit over the shin. Nice deep stretch over that glute. Okay, 3, 2, and 1. Right, we're going to shake it off. We're going to take a look first at internal rotation. So we're going to do that actively. So we want to start lying down on our backs. And I warn you in advance, this one is a bit crampy. We're going to lift our legs up to 90 degrees, bent to 90 degrees. We're going to place both fists between the knees. And then you're going to try and squeeze the fists together. So contract the inside of the thigh and then pull the feet out as wide as you can. So when you first do this, you might get some cramps, like the TFL, so the outside of the hip. Absolutely normal. Just give it a shake off. Try again. We're going to do 3 reps, 10 seconds, and then just watch your feet and try to do it as wide as you can. Just think about just trying to get as wide as possible. So 10 seconds. Off we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it off. Shake it off for about 5 seconds, and then we're going to repeat that effort 2 more times. Make sure you're squeezing those fists together nice and hard. Feet out. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it off. And we'll do one last one here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Shake it off again. I'm going to stay in this lying position. I'm just going to try and keep my legs bent. I'm just going to wiggle the feet out and then just gently give a little bit of assistance now with the hands, sort of pushing the knees towards the center. So again, a little bit of a stretch into where our maximum internal rotation would be, but mainly just cooling down from that last stretch. Now, instead, we're going to try and pull ourselves into where I guess a deep squat would be. So how close can we get the thighs to our stomach? And then I'm going to try and press the knees away using my hands, but I'm going to actively use my hip flexors to stop that happening. So we have to create this internal battle. So I'm going to try and push my knees away, but I'm going to try and lift them up. Now this one, you can really create quite a strong maximum effort. Like you see, I'm sort of shaking when I contract that. That's what we're after. So again, we're going to do 3 reps, 10 seconds, as hard as you can. So push the knees away, lift them up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, just shake it off. So 2 more of those. Press the knees away, lift them up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. So we're going to do one last one here. So again, pull yourself nice, deep squat position. Press those knees away. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Now stand up a little bit. We'll come into what would be a frog position now. So go as wide as you can do with the knees. Going to have the feet facing directly straight back. And we're just going to work on sliding in and out. So coming forward a bit, rocking backwards a bit. And as we do so, we're just going to wiggle those knees out towards the side and try and get a little bit deeper into it. Maybe until we feel like we've reached kind of close to our maximum effort or maximum range of motion. And then once we think we're there, we're going to push the hips back as far as we can. So this is going to be the maximum stretch over the adductors. And then what we're going to do is perform a couple of reps of PNF. So I want you to think about trying to press the knees into the ground. So squeeze in the floor as hard as you can. Feel the inside of the thighs contract. Close to maximum effort, like as hard as you can. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big exhale, if you can do. Try to move the knee out on each side. And if you can't move the knees out, try to feel like you can push the hips further back into the stretch. We're just going to do one more of those. Into the ground as hard as you can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, relax. Try to push those hips back further if you can do. We're going to hold this now just for another 10 seconds or so. Just breathe into it. And then just come forward with the hips. Let the feet come together. Just let yourself relax down onto the floor a bit. I'm going to take a little look at the ankle. So let's come into what would be a fisherman's position. So that's kneeling. I'm going to take one leg. I'm going to start with the right leg. And sort of the other leg, just kneeling to the side. So I've hopefully got the most amount of leverage that I can play with here. Now, if you really can't get the knees kind of going past the toe, if you feel a bit stuck here, then what I would do is just elevate the ankle slightly. Now, what this is going to do is it allows us to get into a place where we can load this better with gravity. So we're able to get that knee shooting further forward. I just want to take a few rocks far over the toes as we can do it. I'm leaning my body weight over my leg to try and give myself a little bit more extra encouragement. So as we're rocking back and forth, what I want you to think about doing is as you come forward, try to feel like this arch of the foot can really flatten out. So I'm trying to press the middle of my foot down towards the ground and get as far over with the knee as I can do. So 2 or 3 more here. And I'm going to just kind of stop around maximum effort. And then what I want you to think about doing is we're going to do a couple of reps of PNF. So you're going to try and think about lifting the toes of the foot up. So I'm going to think actively contracting the front of the shin. It's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to exhale if you can do. Try to feel like you can push that knee further over the toes. Right, we're going to do 1 more of those. So same thing again, lifting the toes up as high as you can. Front of the shins working hard. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to relax, try to push that knee further over. I'll hold this just for another 10 seconds here. Use your weight, really lean into it if you can do. Or maybe try to reduce that heel height if you've had to elevate the heel. Okay, let's come out of it, shake it off. I'm going to swap sides now. So swap to that left-hand side. I'm going to tuck my right leg down behind. I'm really just focusing now on this left leg. So however I can do to make sure that I can get as much weight as possible over this left-hand side. This right leg, this hip flexibility isn't going to be restricting me. I'm just going to work on rocking backwards and forwards. Trying to get as far over that foot as I can do. Again, thinking about trying to flatten out the foot, feeling like the center of the foot is going to be pushing down into the ground to go further with that knee over the ankle. If you need to elevate that heel, elevate the heel. I'm going to do 2 reps of those PNF again. So I'm going to come as far forward as I can do. Think about lifting those toes up, using the front of the shin, the top of the foot, as hard as possible. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, try to shift a bit further over. All right, we're going to do 1 more. If you get this one going right, what you'll feel is like as you're lifting this up, you're going to feel a little bit in the foot, but you also might feel it in the hip as well. Like the whole of that chain is going to be working on basically pulling you down, pulling you further into that stretch. So lift, toes up towards the shin, front of the shin working, top of the foot working. 3, 2, 1. Try to shift deeper or as far as you can, get the weight over. Try to get that ankle going forward. Okay, shake it off. We can come back. Just a bit of a child's pose, so let the toes plantar flex, so the opposite direction. Try to sit back onto the feet, just into a bit of a child's pose. Just shake it off just for a couple of seconds here. And then we're going to work on finally just releasing a bit of neural tension, getting a bit of rotation in the hips, and then we're going to go back to testing that squat. So let's come on up. We're going to go into a pike position. So standing pike, and if you can comfortably touch the floor, have your hands on the floor. If you can't, we're going to use a couple of yoga blocks to assist, but I quite like yoga blocks anyway in this one. It feels nice. We're going to do a couple of elephant walks here, so about a minute or so. And this involves basically being in a bent leg pike position to start with. You're going to think about straightening one leg, keeping the other leg bent. So you've got straight leg. That's going to bring stretch over this glute into the hamstring. And then the other knee, you're going to try and push forward, hold for a few seconds, and then switch and twist around. So we're going to move in and out, release a bit of neural tension around the hips, but we're also going to get this tilting of the hips as well as a stretch in the hamstrings. So as I said, we're going to do about 60 seconds in total, just moving back and forth. Really try to straighten the leg, push one knee back as far as you can and try to pull the other knee as forward as you can. Last one. And then just try to shake it off a bit. If you need to, shake out the stretch. And now we're going to try and just ease back into that squat, and we're going to see if we can find a better position than before. And to do so, we're going to go back to that pike position. And I want you just to think about squatting down. So we're going to keep this connection, try to squat down, try to push the knees forward, reach the hands forward if you need to, come as deep as you can, hold for a couple of seconds, and we're just going to ease back out. We're just going to do sort of 3 or 4 of these. Each time just trying to ease that little bit further as we squat down, just try to feel those knees go forward, try to get a little bit deeper. If you need to, just grab that object in front of you, something to anchor you, to help you pull a little bit further, potentially even holding some weight in the hands. Let's just keep shifting back and forth and see if we can get into a more comfortable squat position. Now again, it doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be all symmetrical and square and all this. It can be wide, it can be knees out, it can be knees in, the feet can be turned out. Squat is a highly individual thing depending on your own hip anatomy and where those weak points lie. So how does it feel? Does it feel better than it did before? Hopefully it does. Have a think about what parts of this routine perhaps felt a little bit more challenging than others. As always, please let me know how you got on with this one. If you did enjoy it, hit that thumbs up button. Right next to it is the subscribe button as well if you don't want to miss out any more future videos. Other than that, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a strong week. Peace.